Hey guys, welcome to the Overnight Journey vlog number 27. No new donations today, but that is absolutely okay. Yesterday we hit our fundraising goal of $3,500. Actually, I think it was the day before yesterday. And so we've currently raised $3,566 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And I learned something new today. For the overnight walk, which happens on May 21st out in San Francisco, AFSP does a thing called being a North Star. Basically, if you raise $10,000, you get to be a North Star. What you get with that is 2 nights in the discounted hotel where most of the overnight walkers stay. You get to have brunch with the CEO of the organization. You are recognized on stage, and you get to lead the walk. So it's definitely something I want to do, and I would really love to be able to raise over $10,000 for AFSP. So we're going to have to step up our game a little bit. I'm making some tweaks to how I'm doing things. I have updated my personal website, which is nicklastine.com. And the only thing on there is just a link, just a little box in the corner, and it has a link to the donations page. So the whole goal with that is it should make it easier for people to find the donations page. So for instance, if I'm out in public talking with people and telling them what I'm doing and they want to donate, instead of telling them the link for the donations page, which is pretty lengthy, I can just tell them to go to nicklastine.com, which should be easier to remember as long as they can spell my last name correctly. They can just go to nicklastine.com and click the link there to then go to the donations page. And again, I want to stress that all donations go directly to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. This isn't like a GoFundMe where the money gets paid to me and then you have to trust me to give it to the charity. It doesn't do anything to pay for travel costs. It just goes directly to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. This will enable you as well if you're out talking with people, telling people what I'm doing, sharing the word, spreading the word. You can tell people just to go to nicklastine.com, and there's a link there for the donations page. So it should make it easier for me and for anybody else that wants to help me spread the word to tell people about how they can donate, especially if they're not friends with me on Facebook. So please keep that in mind, and please spread the word and ask people to donate, and you can just tell them to go to nicklastine.com. The other thing that I would like to ask is when you guys are sharing posts, sharing videos, please write something. So on Facebook, when you decide you want to share it, select Share in New Post and write something. And personalize it and tailor it, and that will pique people's interest to see what you have to say about it rather than it just being a link to Nick Lastine's donation page or Nicholas Lastine's donation page. By you saying something about it, you can say a little bit about what I'm doing so people know what the link is for. Usually if you share the video, it'll put the description or the post that I post with the video, but I encourage you guys to post something with things when you're sharing them. I think that'll help. The other thing I would like to ask is that anybody watching this that hasn't donated, please do. I'm going to have to really push hard to be able to hit $10,000 by May 21st, and every little bit helps. So if you haven't donated, please do. If you have donated and you can spare a little more, I definitely would appreciate that. I also wanted to talk about the debate yesterday, the GOP debate. I'm not talking politics. I just want to reference one specific thing that I observed during the debate, and it just reinforces the urgency and the necessity for me to do what I'm doing and for us to support mental health advocacy and policy changes. In answering one of the questions, John Kasich started his answer by saying he had met a woman recently who had lost her 15-year-old son to suicide. He then went on to say something to the effect of, this is why we need to create jobs and make it easier for people, young people, to get jobs. The reason this stands out to me is because while he didn't say these exact words, the fact that he started his answer with, I met a woman who lost her 15-year-old son to suicide, and then proceeded to talk about the urgency in creating jobs for young people, tells me that he's clearly off base with what causes people to commit suicide or to die by suicide, and just mental health issues in general. People don't decide to take their own lives because they can't get a job. Usually they can't get a job, or they can get a job, but they don't continue working due to their mental illness. So how creating jobs for young people has anything to do with a 15-year-old boy dying by suicide makes no sense to me at all. And if politicians in Washington are that oblivious and that clueless to mental health issues, we definitely need strong advocacy for education, policy changes, awareness, and encouragement for people to tell their stories and help people who don't know what mental illness does and how it impacts people to maybe gain a little bit of an understanding. So please join with me in helping raise money for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, so that way we can maybe do a little bit to help some of these politicians and people in general understand mental illness better. People don't take their own lives because they can't get a job. There may be exceptions to that, but with my sister, she had no problem getting a job. The problem was she couldn't continue working because of her mental illness, because of her depression, and because of her anxiety. She became a recluse, and she stayed in her room the majority of the time. It wasn't because we need to create more jobs. It's because we need to make it easier for people to get mental health assistance in this country, and we need to better train mental health care professionals in dealing with these issues, and just healthcare professionals in general. There's so much that we can do. So again, that just reignites and reinvigorates me to continue doing what we're doing and continue raising money to go to an organization that does a lot to advocate for mental health policy changes. And again, politicians are real quick to throw out mental health reform after a mass shooting, but I really don't think they understand what that means, especially if they think that means creating jobs. So just something to keep in mind. I'll leave you guys with that. I will say today was a tough day, and that's just pretty much all I'll say about that. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm going to start my House of Cards marathon, and tomorrow I'll be getting some Girl Scout cookies to go along with my House of Cards marathon, so should be a good weekend. I finally get a couple of days off. I'm sure I will sleep like a baby. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.